Hey peeps, DJMK here, and welcome to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And like the title has said, Absentee Ballot Part 2 officially starts today. Plus, boy, have I got a story for you all today. Because, I mean, it's kind of beautiful that, like, Friday was the day that this happened, but I mean, honestly, any day would have worked, but Friday, it just had to be beautiful that it just happened on Friday. So, gonna open this up. You saw me do this last stream, so I'm not gonna take too long with going through the details like I did this time, because it's actually pretty easy to do, which is kind of nice. This is all for the general elections. Only one envelope this time. Okay. Some rainwater got on it, of course. And yeah, pretty much all Oh, she showed up this time. Sweet. Okay. All right. So this is the September primary sheet here. Can I use pen for this? Let me check. I can use pen, but I am going to use pencil because I know myself. It's right here. Toy. Because I know myself. That and, well, I grew up with Scantron sheets, and I mean, the little kid in me is like, hey, gotta use that pencil, because you never know. But anyway, that's not really why I came on here. It's more so about a little story that has basically popped up for me today. And I had to think about this one because it was a long road. But considering a lot of the anti-MLM broadcasts that have been happening nowadays, I think there's another type of business that we absolutely need to work. We absolutely need to curb right now. Which thankfully things are starting to get curbed. Which is the get rich quick scheme. Which you think with that, like that's practically already ended, but no, they've just gotten a lot smarter at not showing themselves. So, I think it was about 2 years ago, I was like on the brink of getting out of college, or I just got out of college. My dad and we were trying to think of ways to come up with money to pay for my school fees and also possibly just get a little extra income on the side, like some easy job that I could easily do at home. And so that way I can like double my income as I work on campus, and then while I'm doing that, I could stay home and make some passive income. So there was all that stuff. And then he gets an email about a business opportunity, and as you know, in the anti-MLM handbook, it's often the easiest way to get you. But it was a business opportunity training you on how to sell on Amazon. Which, that is actually legitimate. Selling on Amazon is a legitimate thing. I actually have a friend who does that full time, and he picks stuff that he like thinks he'll sell well, and he makes some money off of that. Goes pretty well, and he's able to travel to a lot of conferences and conventions and stuff because all of that he can do from his house and all that stuff. So. So, I thought, like, if he could do it, so can we. So, I thought this was, like, a training seminar, essentially. That's what we thought, initially. And it was called Amazing Build Services. But, I mean, you probably noticed immediately that the acronym is AWS, which is the exact same thing about, exact same letters as their warehouse, as Amazon's warehouse department. But we'll get to that in a moment. So we decided to sign up. We go to this hotel in town, and there's like a bunch of people up there, and they pretty much said everything that we pretty much wanted to hear. Let's be frank here. And they even outwardly said, like, maybe your phrase is all this is a scam, and we're just out here to take your money. They're getting that good, people. They're getting that good. It's like they told pretty much everything we wanted to hear. Of course, they have the disclaimer that you're not guaranteed to make money off of this. You're not guaranteed to make the same amount of money as most of the examples they had above. But hey, it's worth learning these lessons and worth giving it a shot. So my dad decided, like, you know what, like, you're young. This will be a good opportunity for you. Let's give this a shot, and you teach us what you've learned based on when you go through this workshop. So we go through this workshop. We go to so we go to the back. We find out it's $1,000, and it included an Amazon Kindle, like a fourth gen Amazon Kindle, which, believe it or not, I still have it. I still have it in my cupboard right now. And also these DVDs and like this 3-day thing, etc., and this ticket that would get me into the 3-day conference, which is happening in the DoubleTree in town. So I was like, okay, all right, so let's go for this. So we paid the $1,000. Then I waited until that weekend, and my cousin was going to be coming over. It was going to be coming over later on that weekend, so I was like, pretty good. Like, I get to learn how to do a business, and and I get to see my family at the same time. It's a win-win. So I was like, okay, I'm pumped. Let's go. As you probably noticed already from the get-go, it's like there were some little things that stood out to me that just made me feel like something doesn't feel right. So, but of course, I like to give things the benefit of the doubt, and that's maybe my biggest weakness right there. So I go to the conference the first day. I'm not a morning person, not by any means of the imagination. So the first day, I go into the hotel. I have a little bit of savings left over from like my work over the summer, thankfully. So I was able to like splurge a little bit on the hotel breakfast, and it felt good. Like the buffet was fantastic, and some fruit and some juice and some coffee. It was just great. And I always felt like I was kind of bit casual, but a little dressier than this. Like, I had a nice shirt underneath, and I was like really relaxed and laid back, and just, I mean, I was okay as far as I could be okay in the morning. Got to meet a couple business people. It was pretty cool. And then I went in the conference room. Thought, you know what? Let me just get more coffee. And right off the bat, I should have noticed something was really off with the fact that there was no signage in the front indicating this event was going on. Because I asked about it from the front desk, and they just didn't know what I was talking about. There was no signage in the front of the conference room at all, and there was nothing even like decorating the entire conference room indicating that something like this was going on. So there was that. But then the biggest red flag that was popping up to me was the fact that you were not supposed to talk to anybody in the conference whatsoever. I mean, I get making sure your ideas aren't stolen, as I've had friends who've experienced that kind of theft. They talk about this idea that they've had, and even though they've had several witnesses that they were the ones who originated that idea, the other person who stole the idea just had a lot more access to the resources they actually needed. The other person actually needed. And so, easy to steal. And because they had the money, their voice doesn't matter. That's precisely what happened to one of my friends, and it was really, it's really upsetting. Like, even now, I'm thinking, like, yo, call them out. Like, say their names. But anyway, so, getting back to that. Just right away, I felt like something was off. But again, benefit of the doubt, good opportunity. Maybe I'll still learn something. Because I thought this was going to help me start my business. Boy, I was wrong. So it just basically was a continuation. The first day was basically a continuation of what we already saw in the first meetup, which is like all the people who made money from the from this event. So it's like, okay, just teach me what I need to know. And also, like, this is before I learned about coffee timing, but like, I felt like the coffee just didn't give me the same kick as it was before. But then again, I was really tired, and I'm not really a morning person. And I was going to be there 4 hours. They didn't provide lunch, so we had to go on our own for lunch. So I went to Barnes & Noble next door, and just it felt like every single minute I just felt really exhausted. Like, it just felt like I didn't feel encouraged at all. It felt exhausting. Like, you know how you go through like a sometimes you go through a really, really tough class, and at first you feel like as if like, my God, how am I going to process all this? But then eventually when you do figure it out, it's like, yes, I get it. That latter feeling never popped up. It just felt like I was being hammered, even though it was happening. And I felt so tempted to break the rules and talk to the person next to me about like, what's up? Like, hey, like, do you want to get out of here? Or like, maybe like write a note. It's like, hey, this is kind of weird that we can't talk. So do you want to do this? Well, of course, little obedient me kept my mouth shut. Just kept my mouth shut. Zip. And then, eventually, we got to this sheet, which it's very common in like motivational circles, but it's said to put on here, which is about ultimately, why do you want to make the money that you want to make? There's like these 6 reasons, and often the final reason is your true, authentic reason. Because the other reasons you put up at first are the things that, like, your protective layer. And after you get the walls down with the 5 questions, the 6th one's your genuine, deep down reason of why you want to do it. Honestly, I think it's not a terrible exercise. Like, definitely give that a shot. Because I think that is still a really good thing. But that was kind of where... That's where it started to hurt. So, yeah. So, I did the sheet the next morning. Because I needed, like, a night to think about it. And the next morning, I talked with my dad... over breakfast about what's going on. And he's like, okay, give us at least another day. If this doesn't feel right still, you can skip the final day, get some extra rest. So like, okay, let's give it a shot. So I wrote down the reasons why I wanted to make the money that I wanted to make. Not going to reveal the reason why here. Because number 1, it's personal. And number 2, it's not relevant here. But ultimately, it felt like it was a violation of trust. For one, you didn't get a copy of the thing that you wrote down. And for another, that was the part that I felt the most uncomfortable with. I handed over that sheet, and as well as like a budget. Like, there was like a budget of wants and needs that we had to do as well. I did that as well. And he critiqued a good bunch of them. Like, just why would you need that? This is pointless. If you really want to do this, like, you have to go all the way with it. I mean, it's stuff that you would hear in a typical business seminar. It's like, if you want to do, you got something that bad, you go all the way with it. But those were not unreasonable things. The things that I budgeted for were not unreasonable. Those were things that were going to take care of myself and do things that I really, really, really want to do, which is like, at the time, it was traveling abroad. It still is a thing, even after this crisis is over. But like, it was like, it was like he was like looking at me like as if I wasn't trying hard enough, that I didn't care about the process. When I really cared. I took time out of my day to come out to this. And then went through that day. They showed us this really terrible Christian football film. It was something on a PureFlix or something as like an inspiration, where this quarterback is like made to go further than he thought that he was going. It was obvious he was tricked. Come on. Like somebody said, like, no, like, he was motivated to go further. Like, come on. There was a better way of doing that than tricking somebody to go that far. Plus, I mean, he could just look down at the marker on the ground and could figure out what distance he went anyway. So it's like, there's a better way of doing it. I've seen a better way of demonstrating that point. And then, this was the 2 red flags that basically sealed the deal for me. Besides the terrible coffee. Number 1. He told us later about the scanning tool they could use to sell items on Amazon. As well as the mini links that you can put, the mini affiliate links that you can put on sites. The tactics that this guy, the same guy who basically shot down my ideas, those tactics, like, the majority of those tactics were illegal. I tried that in the mall. I tried that scanner in the mall. The majority of things that he asked to scan, they were unsellable. Like, you couldn't sell them on Amazon or anywhere else. They were unsellable. Like, they were not allowed to be sold on Amazon because of store exclusivity. And then the other thing that he tried was basically put the affiliate link in the description, like as if it's a recommendation. And as you know nowadays, putting affiliate links like that, like as if it was a recommendation, is totally illegal. You actually have to state that this is, like, you are going to get a cut of this, even if they're not paying extra for it. You still have to say, I'm getting a cut from this if you decide to use this link. That was it for me. Right then and there, I figured out that it was a scam. Which was the other thing that was a red flag. Well, besides the not talking in that. Which was, you paid $3,000 to join their exclusive circle. And passed on a phone number. So I write down the address, I write down the phone number, write down the information, and she was like, this guy, same guy, was pressuring this young woman who, it was so obvious that she couldn't afford to pay that kind of money. It was so obvious she couldn't afford that kind of money into buying this package. Thankfully, she was resilient enough to say, like, and I even kind of backed her up on this as well. She's resilient enough to say, like, I need to think about this. I need a night. I need to think about this, etc. So it was a good thing that we walked away then. And so, after that, thankfully that day was shorter. I came back. I took a nap. And by nap, I mean, like, I hibernated until 6 a.m. the next morning. And I did a prayer that if this ended up being if this was a genuine scam, that they got the retribution that they deserved. So I started looking up the stuff. Turns out this company was stealing Amazon associated acronyms. They made their names so similar so that way you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell what was Amazon, what was this company. And it turns out they changed their name several times. They've been banned in 4 states, mostly in the Midwest and the West Coast, but they've been banned in 4 states. They're in the process of getting banned in Massachusetts. And it's not the first time they've done a scam. They've done a scam several times already, and they've been able to get away with it. The saddest thing is they were able to get away with it. I looked it up, like, They also talked about this service called Fulfillment by Adam, where essentially you send the items to this dude named Adam, and he would package it up for you and send it to Amazon. Turns out, Amazon does the packaging for you. Like, all the stuff all the stuff you need in order to start a business on Amazon, the Amazon site already tells you everything you need to know for that, but for free. You don't have to pay anything for that. It's all for free. And you don't have to stamp everything yourself. They can do it for you. And it turns out that Adam, they're referring to in that film by Adam, which obviously is a cover-up of the actual meaning of FBA, which is Fulfillment by Amazon. The Adam referred to in that acronym was actually the founder of the scam. And it turns out people experience the exact same thing. They go into that first initial seminar for free. They pay the $1,000. They go in. Exact scant experience that I had. And thank goodness I am a shameless note taker. So I basically wrote down every single bit of information that I knew about this company. I cited all of the articles, all of the experiences, all the stuff that has happened. And even the information of the people that I met, which no doubt they probably used some aliases or they were actors. And I even looked up the address. It was a warehouse in the middle of Boston. Like, it was an empty warehouse, not the building they put in the PowerPoint. And I was like, that's for sure. It's a scam. We were scammed. And sure enough, when I told the story, the story to my aunt and my cousin and my mom, like, it was confirmed, like, yeah, that was totally a scam that you experienced. And it was a bit heartbreaking because, like, that would have been enough to, like, pay off my tuition. But you know what? My main goal was that nobody would have to experience that kind of humiliation or that kind of loss ever again. So I sent as many details as possible to the FTC. I talked with the Better Business Bureau. I talked with, like, as many people as possible to make sure this company was targeted down, because no doubt they were going to move around. And even with that, the probability of me getting my entire money back was pretty low, because that is a lot of money, and of course they're probably not gonna bother with somebody who fell for so that easily, especially at the time, a small college student like myself. Like, why would you fall for a scam so easily? I mean, you're the target after all. They don't care. That was 2 years ago since I did that prayer. And 2 years later, this is the fruit of the effort. The enclosed check is your share of the FBA Store settlement fund. According to the FTC, FBA Stores falsely claimed that people could use its amazing wealth system to create a profitable online business selling products on Amazon. FBA Stores had no affiliation with Amazon, and most people who bought the amazing wealth system lost money. And I was one of them. Though I was probably one of the lucky ones. That it was only $1,000 that I lost. Most people may have lost maybe like $5,000, $6,000. Maybe as much as the people that supposedly have made money on the site. FBA Stores use many other business names, including Amazon Wealth Systems, AWS, Insider Online Secrets, Online Auction, Learning Center, and Online Seller. Out of $1,000 that I spent, I only got back $82. But considering how many people were affected, and as you heard, how many names were under this scam, that was all the more reason why it was important to fight back. At this point, I don't care that I'm going to get all the money back. I'm just much happier that now they can't do a scam like that ever again. Because too many times we keep hearing stories about how the so-called villains, the bad guys, often get away with murder, or get away with doing really, really terrible things to people. And writing the report to the FTC and the Various Bureau was like my way of saying, no. Those dystopian novels, those novels where the heroes, they try so hard to do the right thing. Even the biblical, like, let's be honest, even, you can say anything you want about some theological stuff, but you can't deny that the church and the biblical texts have taught us a great deal about how to do a good thing, even in the face of adversity, such as, oh, you're just a stupid little college student who fell for a scam that even a 4-year-old could detect. That's a challenge, people. We always think of like challenges as like in terms of like hate or getting burned at the stake. Pardon the metaphor here, but like that's the biggest one I could think of, considering I just watched a historical documentary about the Salem witch trials. But anyway, and the witch trials in Germany and the UK. But anyway, anyway, like we often think of like challenge as like martyrdom, when the challenges that are more common among us is more so disbelief or doubt or apathy. That's the adversity that we got. That's also adversity that we gotta go against. And I'm happy to say that it paid off. I'm glad that I spoke up about an issue that was affecting so many people, not just college students. There were people as old as my parents, not older, in that building as well. They were just as vulnerable. And I'm just glad that I was able to stop it before they took any more money from people. This check was just a small thank you. The letter, the fact that like, these guys were stopped, is a bigger thank you. And granted, Amazon is doing its own shady tactics by itself right now, between the staff and, of course, the fact that Jeff Bezos could literally rescue the entire economy and the EU and the entire anime industry in one fell swoop. Yes, I am talking about the You Are Jeff Bezos playthrough that I did a few months ago, maybe a few months ago, maybe a year ago. I can't remember when, but it's on my channel. Feel free to take a look. The fact is that he can rescue so many people, still pay and rescue so many things, and still pay Amazon a living wage, Amazon's employees a living wage, and it still won't make a dent in his bottom line. That things that Amazon really needs to work on. Really, really, really needs to work on. But for right now, consider that a mission accomplished. I feel like a Robin Hood figure. Now I know how he feels when it comes to saving the populace from the corrupt sheriff of Nottingham. Also, it's kind of convenient that also I was wearing a Wonder Woman shirt when I basically got the mail. So, talk about poetic right here. Wonder Woman's my favorite superhero, so this all works out. This all works out. But yeah, that's pretty much my big story about how I basically managed to uncover a scam and report to the FTC what was up. And it just, long story short, if I want to go for a little bit of a morality tale, crime can pay the short-term bills, but you will suffer a long-term spiritual debt. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. Honestly, I don't know what will. Alright, so So I gotta look up these a couple positions here because I like to be informed. So I'm gonna look up right now the the insurance commissioner and president of the county council. Let me just look up the candidates for those. Also, apparently, presidential candidate Kamala Harris was in my home state the day that she got announced. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Okay, that one's pretty obvious. All right. Wish I had some music. Same person I'm thinking of? Also, my acne has gotten really significant. Okay, he's already getting on my yes board because he is supporter of the arts. That is a big thing for me. Let me give the others a chance, though. Let me see. Oh, this is tricky because she's very much supporting food insecure peeps, and I did a lot of work on food insecurity, so oh man, it's a tough call. It's a very tough call. By considering the needs right now. Sorry, man. Okay. All right. This is getting much easier now. So this is the this is basically the state primary vote. That I just did. And the general election will be coming up in November, but no doubt I'll probably get the general election vote in maybe September, October, theoretically. All right. Hold on one sec, guys. All right. On that note, I'll be back a little bit later with a game. This has got a little bit serious, but I'll be back with a game pretty soon. So here's all my social media in case you want to check out my stuff. As you probably saw in the description, I pretty much simplified all of the links because it got pretty full. And it's getting close to the end of the summer. So I'm going to donate just a little bit of what I've made over the summer to a charity that I care about. So I will let you know what that is probably in the next stream. Not today's stream, but like later on in the next stream. So in terms of other stuff that's been happening, I may do Parasite Eve. I don't know. I've been really tired lately, but I'm doing pretty good today, so it's possible I may do that today. There's also the Prince of Persia Sands of Time level, which honestly, it feels like every time it's getting harder and harder and harder, and I can't figure it out. So who knows? We got the Dagger of Shan, which I did start a little bit during the chill stream, but I think it might be a chill stream only thing now, since that kind of set the tone. Parasite Eve 2, obviously, at some point I'm going to play that. Obviously, it's not going to be day by day because it's longer than Parasite Eve 1, so there's that. And Sailor Moon Another Story, I found that in English, so we shall play that pretty soon. But anyway, I got some special offerings in my Fiverr shop. There's some coffee. There's some readings on coffee and on my Fiverr shop. So I get $3 to $5. Also in a Depop, I decided to discount it down to $20 because obviously people are not going to spend that much during this period. And like I said earlier, a third of the proceeds will go towards various charities that I care about. So for Blackout, so I got a couple of codes going on right now. Blackout, which is supplemental archetype for a read that you purchase, and if you use the code birthday, which I think it's ending today, actually. Yeah, it's ending today. You will get fast track or live at no extra cost, and it's 1 week only. So I found out that you basically can't use any of the communication in the Fiverr. So unfortunately, like for live readings, I will genuinely have to use only the chat, I'm afraid. So, because per Fiverr's terms and conditions, you can't do live. If you donate on Coffee, however, I will have more options for you. But because of the way because of the way Fiverr is, I basically can't go any further than the text, unfortunately. So that's pretty much it. So in terms of real life things, there is supporting local businesses. I am supporting Funland. So if you go to supportde.com, it's $21 a shirt and $10 goes towards the business. And then there's the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair with discount sales and costume, obviously barring any safety restrictions, of course. And I am hoping to attend the Star Trek Las Vegas convention in 2021. So yeah. That'll pretty much be it for right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you later for a gaming stream, which will be pretty short because I've got to meet up tonight. But anyway, I will see you later. Peace out. Oh yeah, and may your heart be your guiding key. And remember to vote. Bye.